FIFA 19. You guys know how I feel about it. If FIFA 17 was the title with the most improvements, innovation to the game, and general biggest leap forward in a single year, then FIFA 19 was the title that did the exact opposite. Flick up and El Tornado crosses, horrible 1v1 shooting while bicycle kicks were overpowered, horrific core mechanics. People think it was a good game because the content was good, which it was to be fair, but when your 93 Bergkamp can't even finish his dinner, what the hell is the point? In addition to the terrible core mechanics and wacky metas, certain gameplay mechanics were introduced for the very first time. Now, of course, there's always new mechanics introduced to the game every year, and that means there's a big list of gameplay mechanics that are dumb, useless, overpowered, or skill gap reducing. Don't even get me started on player locking, that could be another long video. But FIFA 19 introduced the single worst mechanic ever put into the entire series. One that isn't just dumb, useless, overpowered, or skill gap reducing, but literally every single one of them combined. And that is manual goalkeeper movement. Now you may ask, why is goalkeeper movement dumb and skill gap reducing? How can it be both useless and overpowered? Who the hell killed JFK? We'll go over the first two in more detail, but I can at least answer the last one right now. It was Nepenthes. Get 'em, boys! So like I said, goalkeeper movement was introduced in FIFA 19, a game that was hilariously marketed as increasing the skill gap. That was a lie. Along with goalkeeper movement, other terrible mechanics were introduced, but even with those in mind, along with the mind-melting gameplay experience, it was goalkeeper movement that stood out more than anything else, and unfortunately, it's still with us even though it is unbelievably dumb. The general idea that goalkeepers would just shuffle to one side of the goal and leave the other completely exposed in an actual real-life match is baffling. Now, I'm normally not one to preach hyper-realism in this video game, especially when it's supposed to be competitive, but there still needs to be a base of realism that the game is based around. And even then, it still needs to be balanced. When in real life do you see a keeper completely move to one side and leave the entire other half of the goal completely open when a person is through on goal? Never, right? Probably never, right? Because that's dumb, right? Now, I can accept goalkeeper movement on corners and free kicks as long as the keeper cannot move after the opposing player begins their run-up. And of course, it makes sense to move the keeper while attempting to save a penalty. Basically, any type of dead ball situation is fair game because one, it's actually something that we see in real life sometimes, but two, and more importantly, open play goalkeeper movement is a huge skill gap reducing mechanic, arguably one of the biggest ones in the game. Now immediately, I already know some of you are going to be saying, oh, but it actually increases this skill gap. It's another thing you have to worry about. If you struggle against people moving the keeper, it's a skill issue. Yeah, I'm going to let Dr. Cox answer this one.
Wrong, 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 wrong. Wrong, 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 wrong.
The biggest skill gap in FIFA or FC is breaking down your opponent's defense and getting a good quality shot, not guessing where someone is going to shoot. And notice I didn't say scoring a goal either, because there have been plenty of mechanics in the past that have been overpowered that don't really provide much of a skill gap, like those goddamn finesse shots from 50 yards out. That means mechanics that lessen the skill gap of breaking down a defense, that bail out someone who completely messed up defensively or doesn't reward an attacking player slicing through a defense. That is a skill gap reducing mechanic, and that is exactly what goalkeeper movement does. It bails out the defender for defending badly. We can look at this from a realistic perspective as well. In real life, what do the commentators say when a club carves open a defense with intricate passes that leaves an open net for a striker, but then the striker blazes it over? Oh, they did the hard part, but they couldn't do the easy part. So that quote means two things. One, that finishing should be easier, and that means that 1v1s and open net shots should be going in pretty routinely, right? The second thing is that creating the chance is actually harder. And so again, that is where the skill gap comes from. That's why FIFA 17's meta of low-driven shots wasn't nearly as bad as FIFA 19's meta of El Tornado flick-up crosses. Again, it was a meta. That low-driven shot was broken. However, you at least had to break down the defense a little bit in order to use it. It's not like you would be winding up from 50 yards out to hit a low-driven. Meanwhile, in FIFA 19, you did not have to do that. You didn't have to break someone down in order to use the El Tornado meta. Now, some of you won't listen and will keep trying to tell me that it increases the skill gap, but my reaction to that will be the exact same when I found out that an orange baboon is actually a spider. I really hate that. F you. Now, what's so funny about this mechanic is that it's somehow both useless and overpowered at the exact same time. And sure, it is absolutely the latter more often than not, but there are plenty of instances where moving the keeper does not matter whatsoever, or in fact even hinders you. You'll try moving the keeper to block the shot, but they'll end up avoiding it, making it seem like not moving them at all would actually result in a better outcome. And this isn't just a one-time situation either. It will happen on multiple occasions to multiple people, making it useless at certain times. Don't get me wrong, I think it's hilarious that this happens, and it puts a huge smile on my face when it does, because it should be a goal anyway. But is it wrong that at least I want some consistency here? The bigger issue is the fact that goalkeeper movement is consistently overpowered the majority of the time. Let alone the fact that it's overpowered enough to make a shit defender concede less, but the movement itself is fast and constant. Now, if goalkeeper movement consisted of moving the keeper only one step to the left or one step to the right, and then they stayed in that position, I would still despise it and still want it removed for the game because, again, I cannot overstate how much this mechanic sucks, but at the very least, it would lessen how overpowered it is, because ideally, you would still be able to make a shot with a good finisher, or the correct shot type, or if you have precision shooting on. The constant movement of goalkeepers adds an amount of overpoweredness that would be cut dramatically if the movement was not constant. But what's even crazier is the fact that right now, this is the best version a goalkeeper movement that we've ever had, because of FIFA 19, when it was introduced, those sons of bitches were moving like cheetahs in goal, okay? It was ridiculous. Italian Stallion, praise be to his channel and God bless his Roma-loving, New York City-dwelling soul, would show constant clips of goalkeepers in that game moving from one side of the goal with the speed of Mbappe. You could move the keeper at the literal last nanosecond and they would still save it because the keeper movement speed was too fast. What makes it even worse is that they would also move back to their position at an equally fast speed. They wouldn't just stand there like I suggest that they do. They wouldn't meander back like they kind of do now. No. They would move back at the exact same speed, just as fast as they would moving out of it. Look at what happens in this clip. He is surgically cutting through this guy's defense. I mean, just perfectly doing these one-touch passes. This is art that keeper moving bums could not fathom. He gets to a shooting position slightly ahead of the penalty spot, and if you noticed, the opponent moved the keeper to the attacker's right side. You can see them slide over and leave a gaping hole on 3/4 of the goal. Clearly, when he shoots a cross goal, he should score, right? No way this goalie makes it back, right? I'm gonna get Dr. Cox again.
Wrong, 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 wrong.
A cross goal, goal wide open, doesn't matter. The keeper turns into prime Superman to scatter across and save it. I mean, just look at this angle. It is genuinely ridiculous. Okay, wait, no, he was facing De Gea? Yeah, no, never mind. He actually was Superman in FIFA 19. That's a little bit more understandable. Now, I wanted to show that last clip because even though it's from FIFA 19, even though the keeper movement speed isn't as fast as it once was, nor is the speed at which they returned to their original spot. Even with all of that in mind, I wanted to show that clip because the situation itself still remains. It may not happen as often, and with some of the changes that EA could bring, it could happen even less. The point is, though, it should not be happening at all. Now, thankfully, the majority of people who voted in a Discord poll have said that they strongly dislike it, and the vast majority have said that they dislike it in some general sense. But we know that casual bums who aren't good at the game will be the ones complaining the most often and the loudest. So it's important to keep reminding EA that most of us want the mechanic gone. And remember to not listen to those who call it a skill gap, because I'm pretty sure they're the ones who named this thing an orange baboon. They're probably the ones who named this animal a mountain chicken. This is a frog. What is wrong with you?